Welcome back, everybody. Nice day. All right, why am I standing here in front of a MIG welder and a old cart, or bread handling cart? Well, you remember this thing? We use the top portion of it as a jig for doing the suspension on the Sport Quattro project. Now, I bought this cart for the stainless steel trays because I use them for a project in my house. Now, I have this Hobart welder, which actually I really like, but it's a lot bigger than the Lincoln MIG that I had on this, and so I propped it up, and it's just temporary, and the cart is completely shot. So what I'm going to do, because, you know, I have to build a new MIG cart, and guess what? Here's my base. That's what I'm going to use, because it rolls so nice. And this thing rolls like you're dragging a dead carcass out of the woods. So, to give you the instance. So what we're going to do now, and just quickly run through it to prove to you that I recycle everything. I'm going to get my gear on, I'm going to chop this up, I'm going to build a MIG welding cart, and if I have time, I'm going to build another thing. I'm going to recycle a bunch of stuff to show you that it's a new tool for building parts for the sport and all the other stuff. Bear with me, trust me, it'll be cool. So, and it's more free recycled shit. All right, let me get on to it. Let me have a cup of coffee and drink my coffee and get my gear on, and we'll blast it out. The base is now prepared. Look at all the extra steel I have. Look at all those extra, look like 1x3 steel posts. Maybe I'll make a long dragster. Put an Audi 5-cylinder in it. All right, let me bring you over and let me show you the other stuff that I'm going to use to make this cart. Check it out. I'm using a file cabinet for the welding cart. And you're probably asking, all right, well, you're just doing it for the hell of it? No, not really. Because open up the drawer, you have a great place to store your welding helmet. Open up this drawer, great place to store your wire and all your other stuff. Keeps it out of the way, one compact area. Plus, the MIG welder sits up high. So you got longer reach when you put it in next to the car. You can go inside it further, and it rolls around. So nice, so nice. So what do I want to do? Well, I think I am going to take all the stuff off of that and just start putting it on here and figuring out where I got to, where I got to weld stuff up. I am going to use the tank supports over there on this. That'll be the first thing I weld onto it, and everything else be fitting towards that. Because the biggest thing is the tank has to be fully on the actual cart, and then we can move on to, putting the welder on and the plates and all the other stuff, and getting this thing all squared away. Well, here we are. What do you think? I think this is a great idea for storing all your MIG stuff. Let's take a walk around it. Right here, we have this door right here. We have a bunch of MIG wire right here. Instructions, arc welding wire, stuff like that. It's all right there, no problem. The MIG machine's right here on that portion of the old MIG cart. I got a little space right here, a little thing right there. This right here, the handle. Instead of having a handle out here to pull it around, I have a handle right here. What did this come from? This came from a prop rod for a Mark III Volkswagen. I bent that up. Just a piece of old tubing right here to keep my MIG gun. This is the inside portion of the prop rod for this prop rod, and this is the outside version. So I can wrap my grounding cord around here and lock onto it, and I have my fire extinguisher. I mean, and it rolls beautiful. It's just like, that's the main thing. And it sits up high where I can adjust the knobs and all that stuff. So, you know what? I think I want to build something else. Yeah, I'm just on a roll. Let me bring it in and show you what we're going to build next, which is another hillbilly tool that I think is going to be fun. It's just going to be fun to do. All right? Let's just do that. Guess what? I think I'm going to make this whole video about building shit for the shop. Why not? You know what I think every shop needs, every home builder who wants to just do a hillbilly type build? Well, this is what I think you need. Hold on. You're probably wondering, what the hell is that? This is going to be a forge, a casting forge, so we can cast all our parts. Remember what I said? I had an idea on how to make the spacers for the CV joints on the rear of the Sport Quattro so I don't have to muck about with the suspension tie rods in the rear. Well, I want to make a casting forge, and I'm going to cast them. Why not? You know what? I keep seeing it, people doing it, and I've never done it, and this is a piece of junk, and I'm going to show you, and I picked up some other stuff that was free off of, is that a Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist? It's one of the two. But I think, you know what? I am bound and determined to make a forge. And I'm going to show you what I'm going to use over there to how to build everything. So, at least the way I think it's going to go. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, it could be a complete cluster, but yeah, whatever. Let's give it a shot. What do you think? It's a kiln. All right, you probably say, well, why did you get a kiln? You're not going to use that to heat the metal up, No, I'm not. What I'm going to use the fire brick from it to allow that to heat everything up, and it won't transfer to the metal walls and make it into like a pot-belly stove. So this is the reason why I picked it up. And the reason why they were basically giving it away is because the coils in it are shot, but whatever. Who cares? Now, the big thing is, I got to take off this top and just take off this metal piece right here, the stainless steel around there, and then I can just slowly pull the bricks out, pull everything out. And then I have some masonry cement that I can use to put them inside there, and I'll figure out the height and all that stuff. But I need to take this apart first to see exactly what I'm going to do and how much height I'm going to use. So let me first grab some tools. Let me pull this top off, and then I am going to start measuring up and cutting that thing up. Well, we got to start. We'll probably have to use the rest of it, but let me figure out how I'm going to cut this and how far I'm going to cut this. We have to stand up on end like this. Stand up end like this, and I'm going to slice it down like that to make a wall. Then use masonry cement to hold it all together. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut, this is roughly where the height is going to be, right there. I'm going to cut this section first, This is going to be my top. This round section, or this ring section that I want to cut, is going to be the base right here. That's my plan. Let's see if it works. Now that we've got that cut up, now I gotta fit all the bricks to the insides of that. And you're probably wondering, did I make this table just to do this? Nope. Let me show you what I made this table for. What is this? This, for people who don't do woodwork, this is called a radial arm saw. Now you're probably saying, well, what's that used for? Well, it's the most dangerous tool in the shop is what it's used for. You know, it's just to scare you. But other than that, this is actually an old one I picked up at like 25 bucks off of Craigslist. And it didn't have a stand. I used an old metal chair and I wrapped some metal C-channel around it, and or angle iron around it. That way it goes right in, no problem, and it doesn't go anywhere. And it's actually, I bought it for cutting stair treads. And it is fantastic for doing that. For other cutting, I really don't like it. And the reason why I'm scared to death of it is because, you know, you're running the saw like this, but the power's right here. So you just can't automatically just let off on the power, which is, to me, I hate. So, and the blade spins down and just like, and plus I've had, like I'm doing other small projects where I didn't have my chop saw up and I used this and it, you know, I had it actually caught the piece of wood and threw it across, across my wood shop. It's just like, man, you gotta treat this thing with respect. So, but what I do have is I have a masonry blade, and I'm gonna try and figure out the angles on the bricks, and we will make it basically conform more to the side walls of the canister for the forge, or the tank for the forge, just so we have very little gaps in between. That's the main thing. So let me go grab my blade. I'm going to set this thing up. I am going to measure the angles over there and see exactly what we need, because I can turn this and turn this to where I want, and I think it'll be good. All right, let me go grab my blade and try and figure out the angles. The bricks are in there, and what I want to do is I want to close up this gap. I basically took the protractor, or whatever these things are called, and went right here, and this is the exact angle of in between here. Then I put it on my framing square, if you want to call it, but it's not. I think it's a I think they call it a rafter square. And then we're right on the exact line. And what is it? It's 48 degrees, it looks like. That looks like it's 48 degrees, so each one has to get cut 24 degrees so I can bring it together. I mean, yeah, we can have some variations. I'll just make it up with the, when I put the refractory cement in. But I'm going to, let me take a couple of the really bad bricks. I just want to see if they can cut and how well they'll look. If it looks good, let's just throw it in. What do you think? I have 9 bricks in here. You have to remember, it's sagging down. There's going to be a 1/4 inch of refractory cement, a minimum, in between these things. And I'm going to try and stuff it all in the back too, just so it seals it up. There's 9 blocks here. I got to cut 9 more to get the second row. That way, once it's all in, it'll be you know, it'll be sealed up pretty much. I still got to make the bottom, and I also have to cut a hole in the side for the pipe to come in to feed air into this furnace. So, what do I got to do next? I got to move that radial arm saw outside because, oh my God, the amount of dust is just crazy. And as soon as I move that outside, I'm going to cut 9 more bricks, get that all squared away. Then we'll, after we do that, I'll cut the hole, and then I will probably build the bottom, then the top, and be pretty much done. You know, then I'll put the refractory cement in here and just make sure it all works out. Hopefully, I think this looks pretty cool to me, and I can't believe how nice that radial arm saw cut. Maybe because it doesn't have such an aggressive blade, it's just a really flat blade, and it went right through it like butter. And it gives you a precise cut, which is fantastic. But boy, does it make dust! Wow! But let me move that thing outside. I'll get on to doing that, and then I can sweep up inside here because it looks like such a disaster area. And then continue on building. Let's get this thing done. Well, it all looks pretty good. I filed to fit everything. What did I use? Just a wood rasp. Made tons of dust here. You know, wear your respirators, guys, when you're doing this stuff. It's like, oh man, but it was really easy. Don't get me wrong. Wasn't very long, you know. And everything's all filed to fit, and it's ready there. I staggered all the bricks from seams I tried to. Now I got to pull them all back out because I got to weld it up. I got to weld the base. I got to weld the hinges for the lid, stuff like that. So let me pull this out, we'll throw it on the bench, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. I'll weld up the base and the hinges, then I'll show you what else I'm going to put on it. Now you see I got my stuff back on because it's more cutting. All right, we got the hinges all placed in, but we need to make this thing movable. First thing we're going to do, we have to add wheels to it. Let me show you what I use. Well, this is what we got. I'm going to repurpose the wheels from the MIG welding cart. The only thing I'm going to do is just slice this right down, slice that right down, put them on the bottom and weld it. The only thing is I don't want the wheels to tip the thing forward, so I have to have it on the bench like there, so when I use the handle to pull it back. Then we'll use the handle. We got a couple things with the handle, and then all the metal. I mean, I got to cut the top too, but then pretty much all the metal work is done. But let me cut this off, throw this on there, and we will continue on with building our little casting forge. Here's the handle I took out that came off of this compressor. One thing I want to use this thing for, I was going to use it for two things. I found out I don't have to. What I was going to use it for, this here is going to be like this, so when the top comes up, it rests on this. That way I don't have to worry about it flopping all the way around and all this other stuff. It's just fairly easy. When I went to measure exactly how I was going to do it, this thing does it for me. These things did it for me. I was like, wow, cool. All right, I love it. That's back. That's awesome. Now, all I do is have the handle in here so I can move this thing around. Just so I just have to make sure it doesn't hit this. That's it. So let me get the grinder. I'm going to grind that up, weld it in, and we will have this thing pretty much squared away for the welding portion. Then I'm going to cut my opening right there to allow the exhaust gases to get out. And I think we are done with the welding portion of this, and we'll start sticking the fire bricks in it and with the refractory cement. Well, it looks like it's all sealed. I mean, only time will tell. But I mean, right now, as it sits, I'm going to let it set up overnight. We'll see how stiff it is when I come down in the morning. I'm going to see if it's stiff. If it's relatively stiff, I'm going to cut it. I know it says it has to be cured at like 45 minutes at 500 degrees. If that's going to be the case, I'll just light a fire in it and just let her burn out. You know, that's pretty much it. You know, let me start cutting up all the blocks to do the top, and we will also figure out how we're going to air it in, you know. So I want to find a blower to do this. Don't know what I'm going to use yet. That's the only thing. But okay. So in the time it takes to go like this, you'll be right back, you know, the next morning. All right, next day. Well, what do we got? Well, we basically left peanut butter out on the counter. You know when you leave peanut butter out on the counter and you sit there and you think, well, that's kind of hard, you know, but it's still pliable. Well, that's kind of what this stuff's set up to be. All right, then I says, all right, I got to take store what I want to do. First thing I want to do, I want to trim this all down nice and easy, you know, and trim it to where its final position is going to be. What I did was I grabbed the blade off of the radial arm saw, put it on this. I'm just going to slowly do it. I'm going to wheel it out there because the dust is so bad. Then I'm going to fill all the bricks in on the top so I can get that all level where it would fit right down nice and easy. And then, because I want to fire this all in one shot, just to cure it. So I'll do all that. And what I'm going to fill all the gaps with is plaster. Because I remember Grant Thompson, the king of random, he did his first casting furnace with plaster. And I think he used steel wool or something like that, but I'm not sure. But I can't remember, it's been so long ago. But I'm just going to fill all the gaps with plaster just so it's very, very stable. We have a very good sealing surface, you know, going out to the end, but I just want to just guarantee it. That way, if I put the plaster in there, put the plaster in the top, and I have everything down there, when I fire it, it'll all seal up. I mean, the plaster will be hard before I do that, but let's first cut this off. Then I'll start putting the bricks in there on the other one to get it exactly level, and I'll show you what I'm going to use for a chimney. You're going to like it. We will finish up this portion of This tool that we can have for the shop, that's experimental and whether or not, I don't know if I'm gonna have to throw it away or not. So, all right, let me get my gear on, roll this out, and trim all this stuff right up. Now we're on to the top of it. What we're doing, we got to make a chimney, pretty much. You know, I cut the hole originally for like a 2.5-inch exhaust pipe. You know, I don't really know what or how big a hole has to be. I don't know, this is the first time I've ever done this. So I figured I'm going to err on the side of caution. I'm going to do a larger hole to allow the heat to escape faster. Whether or not, if you know, like increase the flow, increase the heat, I don't know. Whether you restrict the flow to retain the heat, is that better? We can always use a restrictor. We can always put a restrictor in, you know, so I might as well go with the largest portion. So, and then I'm going to fill it all up with fire brick, and I'm going to use plaster on the bottom and refractory cement on top and make it sit flush with it. Now, what are we going to be using for an exhaust pipe? Eurovan seat tubing. I'm bound and determined to use up the entire Eurovan middle seat. This is about the biggest piece I have left of that seat. So what I'm going to do is just going to trim this off, slice it right here, put it in there, set the depth, and cut it. That's all I'm going to do, you know, and make it fit inside there. Just going to be a little chimney. That's it. So let me get my stuff on, or get my gloves on, and get my cutter, and we'll just zip it all out. Well, now we have to let it sit. Oh, that was a mess. Oh, who knows if it worked, but you know what? Whatever. Well, this is the last thing we're gonna build today. Seeing how I gotta wait for the casting furnace to cure before I want to let it cure for a week, and I want to get the video out. So I'm gonna wait, and when I start casting my stuff for the Sport Quattro, that's when I'm going to do the blower unit and all this other stuff. It's, you know, to each his own for the blower, because all it is a pipe in there, force air in there. On how I'm going to do that is another thing. You know, you can hook a compressor up to it, you can hook a shop vac up to it, a leaf blower, whatever. You know, you can hook something up to it. But I don't know, and that thing might just disintegrate the first time I use it, you know. I have no idea, because it was the first thing I've ever done with a casting furnace. I can't wait, actually. It's going to be a lot of fun. But let's get on to this. This is going to be the last thing. So what I got to do is I have my TIG machine here. I used to have it on that cart. I just put a bunch of other stuff on it because that stuff is very hard. That cart was just, it's okay to move around, but it's not that great. And I had some grandiose plans of using the top for doing TIGging. No, that doesn't work. What I got to do is, same way I put the TIG cart on this cart, which is the same thing as the MIG cart. What it is that I've already prepped it and all that stuff underneath and gotten rid of all the other stuff. And so you don't need to see that again. But the main things we have to put on, the biggest thing is the TIG. The second thing are the 2 TIG bottles, argon bottles. This is my bottles was given to me. This works out perfect because I am such an amateur aluminum welder. My 80, I go through argon like it's going out of style. So what I have to do is, this thing is great because when I run out of this, I can just go into there and finish what I have and just keep on going. So I got to mount the 2 bottles. I got a mount I placed for the controller, and a mount for the grounding cable, the TIG torch, and for the also for the power cable. And I want to do some place for the rods and some miscellaneous stuff. So other than that, let me first work on getting the bottles mounted onto the cart, because I'm not going to weld the TIG welder on there. Let's get these things on there, set them up, then we can move on to building the frame to hold the bottles in and to make, places where we can put all the accessories. We're going to begin with putting the bottom mounts on the bottles. That's what we need to do. So we need a mount that's going to be down there so the mount won't kick out. I mean, so the bottle won't kick out, just in case, the cart stops into something and the bottom goes but the top stays. You just don't want that to happen. And I'm looking around going, geez, what do I have that would actually fit the bottom of that or what I don't have to make, And I'm sitting here looking in my junk pile going, look at this. This is the spring perch from the 5000 Quattro strut. I only found one of them. That's the problem. And I'm looking at it going, wow, that looks great. I wonder if it actually fits. I measured it and it said it did, but I don't know. But what I did do is I took the top spring perch from the 5000 Quattro. It's a two-piece unit. As you can see, I drilled out everything. Yep, fits perfect. So I just have to make a lip on this one because this one is so much wider than that. I'm going to make a lip around there so it won't kick out, but I think this would be great just for an initial base for both bottles. And then I'll build a structure around it to make sure they don't, tip over or go forward or back like that. So let me get my gloves and all my garb on. Let's cut this up. And if I can find the other one, I will, but I can't find it. Oh well. Let me cut this up, put it on there, weld it on, and let's get going. That's just basically tacked. Don't worry, the bottle's good. If you're going to be concerned. Now I got to figure out a place to put the pedal and to put all the other stuff right here on top of it. that moves so nice. This is what we've done. What have we done? We built a MIG cart. We built a TIG cart. We built a casting forge, maybe. And we destroyed a set of gloves, absolutely. I hope my new ones show up in the mail soon. All right, what did we do? Well, we built the MIG cart. We have places for our consumables, our helmets, fire extinguisher. This is what I use primarily all the time. TIG cart, I can now move it around. Big thing. And everything's self-contained. I know it's okay. I set this bottle higher because you can see the regulator right here. What it is when I'm welding anything, I want to look over, see the amperage, and I also want to see the flow gauges and how much pressure I have in the bottle. And with that thing being down, it would not, the regulator would not go this way so I could see it. I'd have to turn it the other way unless I did not raise it. So I raised it up, same thing. Everything has a place for each other, and we built maybe a casting forge. I won't know until I get it done. This is the main thing that I did not do on this is the air system that blows in to create the casting forge heat, you know, the fresh air system, if you want to call it, or forced air system. Because I'm not really sure what I'm going to use. I know I'm going to use the half-inch pipe going in there and all that. That's no problem, but it's fixing everything on the side, whether I'm going to have a self-contained unit or a secondary unit like a leaf blower or a shop vac or something that'll blow the air into it. I don't really know. And also, I don't want to cut into this thing. I want to let this sit for about a week, week and a half minimum to make sure everything is cured. Everything is done. Then I'm going to take the file and file everything, make sure it's all nice and flat, and then I'll do that. I'll probably film the rest of making this thing complete when I do my very first castings, because I'm going to try the castings for the spacers on the back of the Sport Quattro for the CV joints. That's, you know, I might as well give it a shot. I mean, what's it gonna hurt, you know? So, well, it could blow up my face, that's okay. But, oh well, you know. All right, well, just remember, none of this is hard at all. You can easily do it. Intimidating as hell? Yeah, it was. I was really intimidated. But you know what? Put it to the side and I'm gonna do it, you know? So I think you can do it too. Trust me, I am nothing special. I'm just a hillbilly out here in New Hampshire. So thank you very much. I hope to see you again some other time, or maybe when the next video on the Audi rally car. All right. Well, thank you very much. Have a great day. Bye now.